I was just cleaning my ears. When I clean my ears, I cough quite a lot. All right. Most High God, please block anybody trying to interfere with this reading and this video. Do step in and deliver your messages to we, your children. Hello, everybody. So, today we're here to find out what do we need to know. What do we need to know, Most High? Uh-oh. I just heard the word cathedral. Ooh. I heard Roman Catholic Cathedral. Well, first I heard cathedral, then I heard Roman Catholic. So there's something that we need to know concerning a cathedral of the Roman Catholic, or the cathedral. Let's see what the word cathedral means first of all. Cathedral, Roman Catholic. And I was putting this deck away, and it's like I saw and heard owner. So the owner of Cathedral, Roman Catholic. And I was only guided to one deck, so let's see. Owner, Cathedral, Roman Catholic. Oh, we had to find out what the word cathedral means in it. Cathedral. Principal church of a diocese. A cathedral is the principal church of a diocese. Let's see what the word diocese means. A diocese is my eyesight. They've been affecting my eyesight. I have 20/20 vision. It's the enemy. Let's see. And they've been trying to loosen my teeth, my gums. So sometimes I eat food, and after that, my gums get itchy. It's an attack. They're trying real hard to break down the tooth that they know is supposed to be fucked up. This one. It's supposed to be damaged by now because I went to the dentist since last year, remember? Those of you who are regulars on this channel and caught up on my story. I went to the dentist last year and he sabotaged this one. I went to fix this one and he sabotaged the one next to it. So they were looking, expecting to see it rotting away by now. And God just keep taking care of business, okay? God just keeps showing them, you don't run things around here. I do, okay? So in order to try and speed up that process, they started to administer some kind of potion that it causes my gums to itch and it causes my gums to kind of, I guess, shrink. It's like it causes my gum to shrink. So what that does is it allows space for like food and stuff like that to get where it's not supposed to, and it comes with a kind of sensitivity at the base, like below the gum line, and like itching. And I've had these cavities for a long time till they heal themselves. The black covering that's over cavities, that's the body protecting what's underneath there. That's like a it's like the body's natural antiseptic and barrier to protect it, right? So I haven't had any problem with those for years. I've been dealing with them and I haven't had any sensitivity around them. And even those have been uh, getting affected by this. So there's a bit of itching under those ones. I've been dealing with this case of rotting teeth for a long time. They've been subjecting me to this attack a long time. So I've learned a lot about how in its natural state the body reacts to these things. So anything contrary to that, I know that there's outside influences, you know. So they're quite silly to think that I wouldn't know if they believe that I didn't know that they are sabotaging. I think it could be my last time I found it was the sugar. Whatever it was in the sugar. Because after I had the sugar, and the sugar was fine for a long time, and I don't know how we got to the point where the sugar was then um, making my gums itch. Because when I bought it from the shop, it was absolutely fine. That's my testimony to the best of my knowledge. Okay, it didn't come from the shop like that. Last time I bought it, it was absolutely fine. I was enjoying sugar like a normal person, so it didn't come from the shop like that. And plus, it was the first time that I went to that shop in a long time. Okay. So anyway, a diocese. Let's see what that is. MNO. Diocese. This. This. What is that word? Let's see. Which something has control. Oh, district over which a bishop has control. Yeah, they're messing with my eyesight, but they've been trying anyway. Sometimes I wake up and I have to actually spray, get my makeshift wet wipes and clean the chemicals, the gas chemicals from my eyes before I can actually open my eyes. They're working hard trying to destroy me. But anyway, God keeps shining and saying, I am boss, not you. Yes, so I'm expecting a package too. Just heard the door. I'm coming. Oh wow, this. Yeah, thank you so much. Your name, please. Inside. My name is Chanel. Chanel, thank you. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so a diocese is a district over which a bishop controls. District over which a bishop has control. And then the other word was cathedral. So the cathedral is, what is it, the primary church, or like, I'm sorry guys, cathedral, C-A-T. I don't remember which side I saw it. C-A-T-Q-R-S-T. C-A-T-C. I think you said the primary church of a diocese. Cathedral. Church of prime principal. Okay, so principal. What does principal mean? I guess, okay, so principal will kind of be like primary. It's like the most important one. It's like the mother of, or the father of, the boss of. So I guess the bishop would most likely spend more time at that church, the principal church of a diocese. Well, you would expect that the bishop would spend a lot more time in that church since it's the principal church. So it's like you have a set of, I don't know, maybe 5 churches, and of the 5 churches, this one is the most important. The cathedral is the most important. That's what I'm getting from this. Okay, so that's basically where most of the important, like in the ranking, in the hierarchy, the most important would be in this, in the cathedral. Okay, those of high ranking would be in the cathedral. And then like as the ranking goes down, you spread them out to the different churches. Okay, so God is talking, this reading is about the cathedral, Roman Catholic, and we got owner. So let's see. It'll make more sense in a moment. Who's trying to destroy my teeth is the system, the corrupt government and the corrupt shadow people behind the government, the ones who make the whole system so corrupt, the movers and the shakers of society. When you take on the services of God, God's enemies become your enemies. So if you claim to be a servant of God and God's enemies are not your enemies, you are friends with God's enemies, it's either you are a liar, a pretender, or God is really, really, really using you in a very powerful way for God's enemies to actually like you. So anybody who claims to be living how God wants them to live and walking that straight and narrow path, just know that the government is going to come after you, because the government is the Antichrist and they stand against God and God's principles. Woe be unto the false prophets who lead God's people astray. So if you claim to really be living for God and your life isn't topsy-turvy like mine, I have good reason to question your authenticity. I have good reason to question your membership as being one of God's flock. Let me make myself abundantly clear. Because if you're living for God, you automatically go against the system. This godless, established system. And they're not going to like you. They're going to try to destroy you like they're trying to destroy me. So if you claim to be a man or woman of God, and your life is all hunky-dory and you get invited and included and all these things, it's either you're very powerful or you're very false. You see how they treated Jesus? You see how they treated Emmanuel, aka Jesus? They said, take up your cross. If you are a real man or woman of God, that means you're carrying your cross, and there will be telltale signs that you're carrying your cross. Because I don't understand why there are so many religious places and so many religious people, and yet the system is so broken. So many people attend these churches in all these high positions in society, and yet still society is so broken, so godless. If you're a member of God's congregation, then how does that reflect in your life? Does it stop when you walk, when you go to work? Do you express God in your household and stop when you get to your work door or something? It looks that way. So all the judges and the lawyers, because you know, Roman Catholic, they're like the name brand of churches. Roman Catholic is like the Nike of churches. Roman Catholic is like the Louis V of churches. The Versace and the Balenciaga of churches. Name brand wise churches. Roman Catholic up there. Most of high society are Roman Catholics. So the movers and shakers of society, most of them attend Roman Catholic church houses. Most of the people who are in positions in society to make changes, they attend Roman Catholic church houses and church services. After Roman Catholic comes the Anglican. Let's see, what do we need to know? You look like when you reach your work door, you need to leave God outside. It means you don't understand the assignment clearly. You're meant to take God everywhere you go. It's meant to be a part of you. God living is meant to be standard for you. It is who you are. It is who you love to be. And you're supposed to live in that God energy without apology. And anywhere that don't accept you and your God energy, you know that you need to leave. But y'all don't leave. Y'all stay and you compromise your God energy and think that God is going to think it's okay. Y'all don't leave. Y'all sell out God every time you go to work and you make decisions that you know are ungodly. You disrespect the God who sustains you. You betray the God who sustains you. And you hurt innocent people. And then you go to church again next Sunday like, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay for the people that are suffering for your promotion of the dishonesty and the ungodliness that you do every day when you're just doing your job. It's not okay for them. You're victimizing innocent people. God don't like that. God don't want to hear, oh, I was just doing my job. So you're a part-time God woman and a part-time God man. Accept that. Tell yourself that you're a part-time Christian. Don't tell yourself that you're a Christian. You're a part-time Christian because when you are met with a situation that calls for you to make a decision to either choose your God self or choose to make peace with the system, you deny your God self. You put your God self on the back burner and you choose to uphold this corrupt system. And then you start feeling a little bit heavy inside, and then you brush it away with whatever kind of reasoning you be telling yourself. You make yourself forget. But God needs you to know that God didn't forget. And I heard God will never forget. So even if you get away with this for 40, 50, 60 years, expect to pay. So by all means, make the choice that you want to make. Live how you want to live. But get ready to pay the price as well. So when you start receiving your karma, don't say that. Don't bawl out to God for mercy. Remember how many people you have wronged, all on the account of you just doing your job. It was your job to hurt innocent people. And you think that that's a respectable job to have as a woman of God, as a man of God? Your job calls for you to compromise your morals on a regular basis, and you stay. Very interesting. I mean, you don't take your moral code very seriously. You don't take your moral life very seriously. There are things that you put above your moral life. That means whatever that thing is that you compromise your morals for, that is your God. So stop telling lies saying that you're a Christian. You're a part-time Christian. You're a semi-Christian. You're a quarter Christian. Let's be real. You're only a quarter Christian. Because 3/4 of the time, you're denying God's commands. Be honest about your percentage. Is very, very important. How much of a Christian are you? What percentage of a Christian are you? Because you're not 100% Christian. You're not 100% Christian all the time. What proportion of your life, your day-to-day life, do you spend doing Christ-like things? Or what percentage during the week do you spend doing Christ-like things? That's how much of a Christian you are. What percentage of the month do you spend doing Christ-like things? That's how much of a Christian you are. What percentage of the year do you spend doing Christ-like things? That's how much of a Christian you are. The rest of the time, you're something else. Okay? So let's just clear that up right now. Stop lying to yourself and stop lying to people and portraying yourself like you're this great God man and God woman. Because as I look at society, I don't see God's reflected. I do not see God reflected in the way the system running. I see evil. I see oppression. I see suppression. I see those who are supposed to make our lives better and safer. They're the ones that we need to be running and being saved from. You think abused children who are abused in the home would be safer with the CPS, Child Protective Services? No, they're not. They're absolutely not more safe in Child Protective Services. That's the system that we live in. And it's corrupt from inside the bureau to the foster parents. So the children get abused inside the Child Protective Services, and when they get adopted, their adopted parents, a lot of the time, they abuse the children too. when you took them out of an environment where they were unsafe. So you took them out of an environment where they're unsafe to put them in an environment where they are unsafe, and then to allow people to adopt them who are going to put them in another environment that is unsafe. This is the reality. And that's just one example. Let's not talk about the police that we can't trust. Police are supposed to be some of the most trustworthy, God-loving, God-serving people. They take an oath to keep order. Whose order though? Whose order? God's order or this order of the system? Because you can't serve two masters, or else you're going to pay for your service to the other master. God don't want to hear, I was just doing my job. No problem. Well, just take this ass whooping. For all the unlawful ass whooping that you handed out to people who needed your help, but you chose to abuse instead because of the system. Because you were just doing your job. That's two examples. Y'all could fit the rest. You know what position you hold in society, and you know exactly how corrupt you have to be on a regular basis because you're just, quote unquote, doing your job. The victims don't want to hear that shit. And on behalf of the victims, God doesn't want to hear that shit. And y'all may have a problem with me using swear words, but I think you got bigger problem than the swear words that are coming out of my mouth. You may not use swear words, but you commit much bigger crimes. Instead of being disgusted at my swear words, you should be disgusted at the way your mind and your heart and your soul is working right now. How can you make yourself comfortable with hurting innocent people? God put you in a position for you to use your wisdom and your skills to protect and serve the people, and you end up being a major cause of their pain. We are not safe with you. The people are not safe with you. The people are not safe with the system that you go to work every day to uphold. And you say, I'm just doing my job. I need to put food on the table. I need to keep a roof over my children's heads. No problem. You put a roof over your children's head and you make innocent people who don't deserve that type of treatment endure treatment that they have no right to be experiencing. No problem. In the future, your turn is going to come. You're going to pay for that. Okay? So keep going to work and just doing my job. I gotta feed my children. You keep doing that. No problem. Every time you do that, you're buying a next fraction of whoop ass. Remember, you heard it here. This is what you need to know. There's no excuse for the way that you're choosing to behave. If you are working in a place where you have to compromise your morals just to keep a check and to put food on your table and keep a roof over your head, it's best if you leave. It is best if you leave. At least if you spend time trying to create a different path for your income, God can at least give you some credit for trying to get out of this, because it's not good for your soul. It's not good for your mind. And if your mind is not in tip-top shape, it's going to show in your body. Because when the reality of how wrong and out of order you are really start to set in, you won't be able to live with yourself. Rightfully so. You know what you are doing and you know what you have done. If your job is calling for you to corrupt your moral compass, if your job is calling for you to fall out with the giver and taker of life, it's better that you get another job and maintain your relationship with God. That is your life insurance. That is your bottom line. That is your more safety. There's no safer you can be than in God. God provides for the birds of the air. God provides for the fish in the sea. God provides for the beast of the field. You don't think that God gonna provide for you, especially when God see you sacrificing just to do right by God? That's taking up your cross. By you compromising your morals, you are not carrying your cross. So if you thought you were, you need to know. Carrying your cross is standing up for God all times, all situations, uncompromisingly. You have a duty to protect your soul. And everybody who comes under the command of your voice, their souls are your responsibility. They're watching your leadership. They're going to mimic what you do. Woe be unto those who lead God's children astray. Okay. So cathedral, Roman Catholic, owner. This system will never get right if we don't make it right. And in order to make it right, we have to first have that mindset. Right now, you don't have a mindset of making it right. You have a mindset of compromising your morals so you can keep getting your paycheck. With that mindset, nothing will ever change. We've got mail. So we've got stagnation. They can't defeat you with their fake accounts that they did already. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. So somebody's been lying in an effort to defeat or stagnate someone. Is this me? Has the church been talking about me? Because I know I've been making splashes. I've been making splashes in the religious arena. Y'all won't give God a voice to speak, so God chose somebody else. If y'all were using your voice to speak what God actually wants you to speak, which is the truth, then God won't have to raise a person like me to speak the things that you don't want to speak to your congregation because you want to keep things just as it is because it's working in your favor. You put God second and put yourself first. Because you refuse to tell the children the truth, God had to put somebody else in the place to tell the children the truth. If the mountain, or they say, if Muhammad don't go to the mountain comes to Muhammad. In this case, you didn't want to give the children the truth, so God used somebody else to give the children the truth, so they received it anyway. Because God's mission will not be stopped. Who do you think you are? Owner of the Roman Catholic Cathedral. Who do you think you are? Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Culture. Yeah, it is your culture to keep things the way it's been going. The way how things has been going is what y'all formulated as your culture. And it is a sick culture. It is a sickening culture. All the things that I said in the beginning of this video, that is your culture. I'm just doing my job. I need to keep a paycheck to keep a roof over my children's head. I need to take care of my sick mother. God can provide. You do not have to compromise your morals to do so. God prefer see you trying your damnedest to keep yourself blameless in God's sight than to see you compromising because you think it's the responsible thing to do. It's not responsible. It's selfish. You're taking care of your own needs and fuck everybody else. Without saying the words, that's what your actions are portraying. That's not fellowship. That's not I am my brother's keeper. That's not looking after the helpless, the less fortunate. That's being selfish. It's a selfish culture. God doesn't like it. It is corrupt. The reason why there are dentists is because there are people who need dental services. They need someone who is adept in that profession to help them get their life right when it comes to the dentistry. The reason why there's such a profession called lawyer is because there are disputes that people need to settle that they don't have the wisdom to settle on their own, so they go and get help. The reason why there is doctors is because sometimes people get sick and they can't heal themselves. They need someone who is really well versed in that profession to help them. So the people that you're victimizing in whatever station you work, these are people that came to you for help. And you hurt them instead because you're quote unquote just doing your job. What exactly is your job? You know the decisions you're making is bad for these children or bad for these people who come to you. What exactly is your job? Who do you work for? Who is your priority? Clearly, it's not God. You say it's God, but your actions tell a completely different story. And that is cultural. You want to keep your culture the way that it is. It's broken. This culture needs to be thrown in the garbage and a new one established. Let's see the underlying issue. So we got stagnation. They can't defeat you. Stagnation is to like stop something from being able to progress. Okay, so God is stopping these fake accounts, these lies. Lies are being spread about someone. Let's see. Let's read the underlying issue. It'll all make more sense. So we got culture. Number of persons involved, 201 to 500. And we got connections in high places. And then we got adolescent. So that's like childish behavior, not quite an adult yet. They knew better. So although you're not in like the highest realms of your godhood, God said you know enough to know that you were wrong. Elders, y'all know you're wrong. What y'all trying to stagnate? Are y'all trying to stagnate me? Is it me that y'all be talking about on how to ruin me because I'm telling the truth and the truth is ruining your evil empires? You so-called men of God. You so-called women of God. You frauds. It is time. You know your Bible. You know what time it is. You know the story better than many. You know what time it is. You knew this time was coming. And you have the power to set this thing right. And you choose not to. You think that you can undo what God has already spoken? You believe you can slow down what God intends to happen? I think you do believe so. But God said you knew better. Elders, you know better. Let's read on. So we got this agenda. You and your agenda. Number of persons involved, more than 1 million. Almost the whole world. Oh, we got number of persons involved, 1 to 3. So your agenda is meant to affect millions and millions because it's a lucrative business. Religion is now a lucrative business. The money is good. It's plentiful. You think that's how God want to fill your cup and make it run over? What does it profit a man or a woman to gain the world and lose their soul? Your pockets are full and your soul is empty. Yet you are leading, you are heading, you are head over millions. Your pockets are full and your soul is empty. This is your plan for the future. Only your plan for the future for the people is they have empty pockets and empty souls. Because you're not filling up the people's souls with what they actually need. You're filling them up with just enough that they could keep on believing in you and trusting in what you're doing. It's like this vicious cycle. How come when y'all read the Bible, y'all only read a few scriptures over and over and over and over and over and over? What happened to the rest of the Bible? Where are the teachings that we're supposed to be getting from the rest of the Bible? Why isn't it common knowledge? Like in Genesis 11:11, I was shocked. When they started talking about Noah's children, Shem, Shem had his first child at 530 or something like that years old. Why isn't this spoken about? This, aren't you the teachers? And if y'all really wanted, if y'all were really taking your positions as uh guardians of the faith properly, if y'all were taking it seriously, y'all would start at the beginning of the book and continue and try to understand the stories, go straight through. Why you keep jumping from this part to that 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 part? How are people meant to understand the story like that? They dedicate themselves to come to see you every Sunday. The least you could do is keep it orderly. Let's try and understand the teachings in this book in its entirety. Why do y'all keep jumping and skipping all over the Bible just loosely and disorderly like that? People would gladly dedicate themselves to come to church, even if they're not church people, because they know they're in a congregation and they're getting to hear the readings of this book finally from start to finish. It's like tuning in every week for what happens next on your favorite series on Netflix. That is supposed to be standard. And then if you want to skip all over the Bible for some other reasons, you do that on other days, not on Sunday. On Sunday, you know you're continuing from this book, this chapter. And when people go home, they can even read ahead so that y'all can all try and understand the word. But y'all are a bunch of crooks. It's not about understanding God or knowing God or helping people to actually find salvation. It's about keeping them hooked so they can keep on making you rich with money and power. How many years, how many centuries have religion been a thing? Y'all got colleges and whatnot dedicated, universities dedicated to studying this thing. And nobody said, start at the beginning of the book and work your way through page by page. Nobody. Nobody. It's not standard. It's not logical to make it standard. Nobody had that type of intelligence or dedication. I find that rather suspicious. If you truly want people to know and understand God, you would start from the beginning of the book. And you will work your way right back so we catch everything. Y'all are glad that people don't want to take up the book and read it just like that. Because we not reading it just like that, we miss a lot. When God appeared to prophet Ezekiel, God showed me this scripture. Prophet Ezekiel, God showed up to prophet Ezekiel to give him some messages, and God's entourage were men with 4 faces. This is God, the living God that created creation. Men with 4 faces went before God and appeared to Ezekiel, prophet Ezekiel first. The face of a man at the front, the face of a lion on the right, the face of an ox on the left, and the face of an eagle at the back of their head. This is standard, and y'all hide these things and hope that nobody sees them. I imagine that the future printing of the Bible is going to omit a lot. That's why I said to people, the older the Bible, the older the dictionary, the older you can get of, the older phone you can get, anything old, they're more authentic. Y'all need to stop investing in these new Bibles unless you just want to see how they're trying to manipulate us. Your only reason for buying these new Bibles is for you to be, these new prints, these new revised Bibles. Versions of the Bible is to compare them and see how they change the message from the Bibles from the 1980s to what they got now. See how, measure how the messages have been skewed. Because look at this, for example. I am going to the mall with Shelly and Mark. Right? That's one sentence. Listen to the next sentence. I am going to the mall with Shelly, Mark. I dropped one word. A comma can make so much of a difference to a message, to the interpretation of a message. I dropped one word in those two sentences. The first one I said, I am going to the mall with Shelly and Mark. That suggests two people. The next sentence I said, I am going to the mall with Shelly, Mark. All I did was drop the and it seemed like Shelly Mark is the person's name. It seemed like there's one person, first and last name. These are the type of tricks that we need to look out for. But you know, they can skew the message in the Bible, but life itself usually straightens it out. So do not question your reality. Question the Bible. When you get into a position where you have to weigh what is written with what you know and experience, trust what you are knowing and experiencing. Anybody can write anything in a book. Anybody can put anything on the internet. But your life experience and your understanding is authentic. It's much harder for them to skew your understanding and your life experience, although they will try. But this is why I'm glad for the ability to read cards, because I could just bypass all of that deception and let God tell me what I need to know. Minutes, and I'm back on track. If I feel there's something to question. I can either pray or I can use my cards and bypass all the deception and the manipulation and let God tell me the truth so I can stay on track with my spirituality. So I can keep on living for God and getting my gifts for doing so. By right, because God is proud of those who try that hard. Take up your cross and walk with me. So y'all be just talking these things. Y'all don't live it. Y'all don't walk it. Y'all talk a good game. Your actions tell a completely different story. And that's not okay. You're doing more harm to yourself. You think that you're making money now, keeping this culture that you got going on. You're denying yourself of how rich you truly could be had you chosen to take up your cross and walk with Christ. That's the honest to God truth. God say, I'm going to pour you out a blessing. Cup full and running over, not just of money, but also of peace. Inner peace, understanding, fame. You be like a God walking the earth, since you want to be like a God so much. Without all the heaviness of the lies that you have to uphold. It's hard to uphold lies. And it weighs on the conscience when it comes to your consciousness. So you may have been able to avoid the truth of how many laws you are breaking, how ungodly you are for a long time. But there comes a time where it comes to your consciousness and it's going to always be on your mind. It's time to reap the destruction you have been sowing. You sowed in joy, you will reap in tears. Because you knew what you were doing. See, I sow in tears, I will reap in joy. And I sow in tears because of people like you. People like me sow in tears because of people like you who claim to be men and women of God that are not. You're businessmen and businesswomen. No, you're crooks. You're just crooks. You're in the business of Jesus. You use Jesus as a business. You built a business around Jesus. You built a business around God. You built a business around God's word. A crookish business. Because if you had spoken the truth and really handled it the way how you know the truth is, it would be a business still. But it would be a righteous business. Right now, it's an unrighteous business. Because you deceive the people knowingly for personal gain. And you tell people not to listen to those who are telling them the truth. Fake accounts. You make fake accounts on real people. You make fake accounts on the children of Israel. Not Israel. Israel. You make fake accounts on the children of Israel because when we speak what is real, it challenges your falsehoods. And it makes people stop and think. And then some of them wake up and you lose a customer. Because that's what the congregation is to you. It's just a customer. Because there's no way that you can run a church and there's people inside your church who don't have food. And they can't get your help. They've been paying tithes for years. And if they have an expense, a medical expense, you don't pay for their medical expense. The same way you're happy to receive tithes from all these people for all these years, regular, every Sunday. You should equally have accounts where the money is completely dedicated to taking care of the needs of these people, should they ever fall short. But you'd be taking, and you don't ever give back. It's a business, not a very good business. Because good businesses, they give back to the communities as a thank you. What do you give back to your congregation as a thank you? So anyway, we got number of persons here involved. We got 1 to 3 people, and it's in the reverse. Let's check to see. Yep, it's meant to be in the reverse. So these 3 people, and usually these small numbers of people are representative of those who are at the head, who know the truth. The truth is only ever shared among a small amount of people. They are the heads of the operation. About 3 people. Let's see what I go on for them. Hidden message. See? Adults. They're hiding the message that would help people to grow in Christ and selling them fake accounts. So they're stagnating their congregation. Let's read on. So these people at the top of the Roman Catholic Cathedral, these owners, the 1 to 3 owners, they're hiding the message that could help people to grow in Christ and keeping people adolescent. And they knew better. Let's read on. But they have an agenda for millions of people where they hide the message that can help them grow for real in their morality, in Christianity, in Christ, in faith. They keep them stagnant. But God said they can't defeat you. Because like I said, if they won't deliver the message of truth that God need the flock to get, God will raise up someone else to do it. Like me. And I didn't go to school to learn the things that I come on here and talk to you about. I live life and I read life. I analyze life. And life taught me. And now I'm sharing with you. So yeah, so these small group of people at the top of the food chain, the church business food chain, they're hiding the message that would help people grow into their divine authority. See, mosque, that's moral code. That's like a church energy. Same thing. So the church claimed to be there to help draw people closer to God, give you the faith that you need. But it's everything except that. That's not what they do. They keep you trapped in a little box. And they comfort you with lies. And they give you a misunderstanding of what God actually is and is about. They keep you confused. Because it's not about your spiritual growth. It's about their financial growth. It's about their growth in stature and power over other people and influence over other people. Let's read. So they are trying to make your way forward as hard as possible. They're actually a block. They stand between you and your God. They're standing between you and your godhood. That's what the Roman Catholic Church is actually doing. The cathedral, the ones at the top The ones all the important people want to be, because like I say, the Roman Catholic Cathedral is like the Nike of churches. Is like the Versace of churches, the Balenciaga of churches. It's the highest brand in churchhood. So they're trying to, it's shit. God said they're going to be punished. Woe be unto those who lead God's people astray. That's what God needs y'all to know right now. You'll be punished for doing this to the people. Yeah, we got number of persons. So the 1 to 3 people, they pass on the messages to the 26 to 30 people, right? Making culprits out of them. So these 3 who are in the reverse, who claim to be of God that are not, they pass on the messages to a slew of bishops or whatever, making culprits out of them, making criminals out of them. They pass on the false message, or they pass on the instruction to falsify the information to the congregation. Let's see. So number of persons, 26 to 30 culprit. Ooh, we got time is running out for them. We got victim. That would be the congregation. Your reputation will be redeemed. So as much as they try to corrupt the congregation, God see what happened, and God said, I'm not going to hold y'all accountable for your misunderstanding of religion. I'm not going to hold y'all accountable for backsliding. I'm not going to hold y'all accountable for thinking that God doesn't exist when you grew up and was cultured by this type of treachery. These people knew better. You see, these people actually know better. And they try to hide the truth from the church and give the church the lie. Because they don't want people to really get into their divine callings. That's why. It's to stop you from actually connecting with the God in you. The Emmanuel. God is with us. So the victims are the congregation, and God said, your reputation will be redeemed. God said, I see what they did to you. I know why you're confused. And I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm going to restore you by providing you with the actual truth. So if you scroll on your timeline, you like find nuggets of truth popping up here and there. Because the thing is, if you're going to a church every week only to have them lie to you, and you're taking you're taking them tithes to them, listen, my suggestion is the tithes, you should continue to pay tithes, but pay it into an account or hide it in a spot where you can actually have that money as like a savings, because you've been giving it to them all this while anyway. So you might as well save it for yourself. Still take it out your paycheck, but don't give it to them. They don't mean you well. But if you can afford to sacrifice and pay your tithes every time, then you should sacrifice and save that money every time. Stop giving it to people who don't have your best interests at heart. Maybe you can use that money after it's accumulated to actually help someone or help yourself. But you've basically been saving it all along. It's just that you're not getting it. So you're paying in money to this church for years. It's a 10% of your paycheck, I think it says. So if you make $100 every week, every person of the congregation paying $10. If you make $200 every week, every person pay $20. And some people even pay more than that. And some of these Roman Catholic churches are not small, they're very big. And their congregation are like the doctors and lawyers, and their congregation are the high society. Those in the big paying jobs, they got the lawyers and the doctors and the scientists and the police and the teachers and everybody that is quote unquote somebody in society that's getting a big paycheck. They are a part of the Roman Catholic congregation. So they make a lot of money. Nobody in there gets $100 a week or £100 a week. It's plenty more than that. It's thousands they make in a month. So they're making a lot of money. And then when you need help, you can't get help from them. And y'all just keep giving your money to this type of institution. All in the name of God. You got more God inside of you than they have inside of them. God would quicker listen to your prayers than to listen to their prayers when they knew better, but they chose to go against God and betray God and betray God's children, the congregation. God sent y'all there for guidance, and they chose to deceive you. They're going to pay for that. And I suggest y'all stop putting your money into these churches. If you're not being provided for or supported by your church, stop giving to your church. You need that money, you and your family. It's been a great practice putting aside how much of $1,000 every month or every week. Keep that practice, but save it for yourself. Do not put it in anybody's collection plate. Because there's no way that you're supposed to be dedicated to a church for 10 years. You've been giving faithfully, giving your tithes faithfully, and you have a down year. And you're not being, you can't get support from the church that you belong to, the church family. That is a godless way to be. God wouldn't do that. That's a man thing. That's not a God thing. Because even if you have to go, even if the church have to pay down to its last penny to take care of those who need to be taken care of in the church, next week they're going to get a whole, it comes back next week and the week after that and the week after that. There was no reason for them not to take care of those who are in need in their congregation. No good reason. You've been looking after them and they don't look after you, not even your mind. They try to put you in a bad position with God, but God see and know everything. God know you're not to be blamed for your misunderstanding of the faith. So y'all are safe. But y'all just have to get yourself together now. But these false prophets, these false bishops, y'all about to get it. That's what God needs y'all. Yeah. So, yeah, your reputation will be redeemed. To the victims, the congregation, God said your reputation will be redeemed. And then coming next, we got moving on. Like I said, stop putting your money in the collection plate and start saving that money for a rainy day so you can help who you need to help. Or maybe you could just keep saving and buy a house or start a business or something. It was a good training. So don't just take that money now and start spending it all willy-nilly. If you are accustomed to giving $1,000 a month, still put away that $1,000 as if you were putting it in the plate. By the end of the year, that's $12,000. You know what you could do with $12,000? You could change your life. And if you're in a work situation where you have to sacrifice your moral code just to keep that paycheck, you could start your own business where you don't have to. So what you choose to do next is completely up to you. But I suggest that you make some good decisions, healthy decisions. God has already forgiven you for your misperceptions and your misconceptions and your misbehavior. Because you didn't know better. You didn't have the voice around you to teach you the truth. So there was no way that you could manifest the level of dedication that God needed you to. Your leaders were weak and they kept you weak deliberately so that they could keep the system strong. The system works when the people who are upholding it are also corrupt. Church and state. Church and state. They work together. In a healthy world, that would be fine. In a morally healthy world, that would be absolutely fine. But in this morally corrupt world, the church needs to separate from the state. Or else when God is falling the state, God will also make the church fall. Because you've been an accomplice. So yeah, you're moving on from the hidden entrance. The hidden entrance being all the lies and deception. The one-sided relationship that you had with the church. You thought you were getting what you were supposed to get from there. You weren't. Look at this. So we got the 1 to 3 people who are very corrupt. They know the truth, right? So they pass on the message or the instructions to the 26 to 30 people who are meant to spread the gospel in a way that it keeps the congregation down, right? So we got the congregation is going to be redeemed and they're going to be moving on from that. Now what we got 30 to 50. So that's like another legion of false prophets. Another legion of false prophets, underground tunnel. Why you got to be underground? That means you're hiding things, right? Right. And God said it didn't work. So they're going to try in other ways to keep y'all from your divinity. The congregation. Because this 2060 people failed, they're going to send out another legion. Or they're going to come up with some kind of a spin-off from the church. So that it look like you're not part of the church, but it's still the church. But that's not going to work either. See? Doing something in your name. Doing something in God's name. So it looked like it don't have anything to do with the church, but you still seeking God. So you think it's a complete separate institution. Nope, it's the same institution. It's like, if I can't get your money this way, I'm gonna get your money that way. So when you move, they're going to move too. But it's not going to work because it's all about the fraud. Criminality for personal or financial gain. They still want your money. If we can't get your money like this, we're going to try to get your money like that. So if y'all leave the church and you start to save your money like I suggested, which is the smart thing to do, the responsible thing to do. If you do that, if you can afford to, of course, if you do that and the church see that their money is going down, they're going to start launching some other avenues where they can rope y'all in again as if it's not them, but it's actually a subsection of them. So watch out for that. Okay. Look, we got coming next. Delusional would never happen. So every indication that it's not gonna work, but they're going to try. And although not gonna work on like a broader scale, then it still suggests that some of you may fall victim once or a couple of times to this shit until you catch on. Okay, but you are better off reading your Bible by yourself, or if you can get a nice little Bible group study and educate yourself and seek spiritual guidance for yourself than to put your trust in these bishops. They do not have your best interest at heart. That's what God needs you to know. So God needs bishops to know you're going to be punished for what you did to the congregation. And God needs, but how many times have we heard of these Roman Catholic priests sodomizing the little boys? That should tell you what type of people they are. But anywho, so God's message to these Roman Catholic priests is that you're going to get punished. And God's message to the congregation who was led astray by these Roman Catholics is you're going to be redeemed. And then they're going to try to come after you again with some other enterprises. Sidestep that and stay redeemed. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Look, they're going to cry. The bishops are going to cry. You big babies. Idiot. Let me remind you. You knew better. You elders, you're gonna cry like babies. You're wrong. You should have never do that to God's people. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.